What's happening, people? I'm DJ Graish with Ghost Syndicate, and today I'm going to show you how to make a liquid drum and bass tune from start to finish. Most of the sounds that I use for this tune are from our Reverie sample pack, and if you want to grab a copy, the link is in the description. So let's get started, and the first thing I'm going to do is change the project BPM to 174. Now let's go into the Reverie sample pack and have a listen to some of these kicks. So I like kick 11, so I'm just going to drag that into the project. Now let's have a listen to some of these snares. So I think I'm going to go with snare 5, and let's just put together the classic drum and bass pattern. So I'm just going to loop the first bar and just put the snare on beats 2 and 4. And then I'll put the kick on beats 1 and then somewhere between beats 3 and 4, and you get this classic drum and bass pattern. So to turn them down, I'm just going to use the 2 faders, and if you hold down shift you can click one, then click the other, and you can adjust both faders together. Now in the Ghost Syndicate sample pack you do have these top loops, which are basically a load of hi-hats and rides and shuffles all together, which is perfect for making a drum and bass tune. So one thing you can do is just loop your kick and snare over and over again, and then just audition the different top loops, and that allows you to hear exactly how it's going to sound with your kick and snare once you've put it all into the project. So I like top 5, but I'm not actually going to be using the shuffle part, I'm just going to be using this first part, so I'll just duplicate that and then I'm going to add my own shuffle. So I'm just going to add an EQ8 and then take out all of the low end and all the lower mids and just leave the top end. And now it's time to go back into the Reverie sample pack and choose a shuffle. So I like the sound of shuffle 16, so I'll just throw that in. And I'll just copy this first part and paste that at the end, and it sounds like this. Let's just adjust the levels a little bit. Actually, I think I prefer shuffle 2, so I'm just going to drag that in and then obviously copy that first bit and paste it at the end, and it sounds like this. And actually, I think I'm going to try a different snare. And I think I'm going to go with 27. So I'll just drag that straight over the top of the other snare, and it sounds like this. Let's just get these levels sounding nice. So I'm pretty happy with the drums now, so I'm just going to rename these kick, snare, top, and shuffle. And I'm just going to group those together and call it drums. So now that the drums are all grouped together, we can do some processing on them together. So I'll just add the glue compressor. And I'm also going to add some tape saturation. So I like to use this one called To Tape 8 from Air Windows. It's a free plugin. The way how I like to use it is to turn off the flutter, turn off the head bump, turn down the output a bit, and then turn up the input. That kind of pushes your drums into the tape saturation and gives them a bit of warmth. Now that we've got a nice drum loop, let's add some bass. So I'm just going to go back into the Reverie sample pack and have a listen to some of these bass one-shots. The quickest way that I've found that you can put this into the simpler is just press Shift, Command and T to create a new MIDI track, and then just double click the sample. And there it is in the simpler, and then you can just play it on your MIDI keyboard. Now if you don't have a MIDI keyboard, you can just click this symbol in the top right, which is the Computer MIDI Keyboard button. So if you click that, that allows you to play your computer keyboard like a MIDI keyboard. So I'll just press record and record in some notes. So let's have a look at this MIDI and make sure these notes are all tidy. So I don't want them to be bang on the grid, I actually want them to come slightly after the grid, and the reason is because I want to make room for the kick. So you see on the first beat of every bar there's going to be a kick, right? And I want the bass to come slightly after the kick so they're not hitting at the exact same time. Alright, let's go back into the Reverie sample pack and have a listen to some of these synth one-shots. So I really like this arpeggiated E piano chord, but you might notice that when I play it at different pitches, the timing of the notes is different. So one thing you can do is click this warp button, and then when you play it, the timing will always be the same no matter if you play it at a higher or lower pitch. So let's press record and play in these notes. And I'm just going to turn up this attack a little bit to make it sort of come in a bit smoother. So I'll just go into audio effects and grab an EQ, and I'm just going to take out some of the bottom end. I'm also going to grab the hybrid reverb, and let's put a bit of delay on it as well. So I'm just going to grab everything and press Command and D to duplicate it, and that gives us double of everything. And then I'm just going to edit the second half and make this note go up instead, and that gives us a bit of variation. And I'll do the same with the E piano. Now it sounds like this. Now I really like the sound of the bass, but I do think it's sounding a little bit thin, so one thing I'm going to do is just go back into the bass one-shots and choose a subby one that I can layer underneath it and thicken it up a bit. And I think this D Synth Bass 03 is going to be absolutely perfect, especially since it's already in the same key, so I can literally just grab these MIDI clips and copy them down, and it should be perfectly in key. Now this bass sample isn't exactly as long as I'd like it to be, so one thing you can do is just turn on this loop and then change loop and length and grab a bit that's going to loop over and over again. So when you play the note, it's going to play the first bit as normal, and then when it gets to this sort of bluey turquoise area, it's going to loop it, and it's going to sound like the note just goes on forever, which is pretty handy. So let's layer this with the other bass and see how they sound together. And if you go into controls and you'll see the envelope, you can actually just adjust the sustain so that the bass note carries on going but not at the same loudness, so it sort of ducks down a little bit. So let's hear how it sounds with the drums and Rhodes. So I like how everything's sounding together now, so let's go back into the Reverie sample pack and have a listen to some more of these synth one-shots. So again, I'm just going to press Shift-Command-T to add a MIDI track and then double-click the sample, and then it appears there in the simpler. So just like before, I'm going to press record and then just play in the notes. So I want to show you these quantize settings. So if you just right click and go to quantize settings, then it gives you all these different options for the quantization. So quantization is basically just making the notes go onto the grid lines. So you have all these different timings, like a quarter note, an eighth note, or you can just put it on grid. And what I'm going to do is just put the grid to 1 bar, and then each note is going to be 1 bar long. Alright, I want to choose a pad, so let's go back into synth one-shots and have a listen to some of these synth pads. I like the sound of synth pad D1, so let's go with that. So I'm actually just going to use the same notes, so I'll just drag this MIDI clip down and hold down Alt, and that copies it, and this is how it sounds. So let's add a little bit of hybrid reverb to this. I'll put it on a plate reverb. And I'll just grab a delay as well. Now with this synth lead, I feel like it's kind of taking its time to come in, and I want it to come in quicker, so I'm just going to adjust this start point in the simpler. And actually with this pad I feel like it could sound better with just one note. So I'm just going to delete these notes and we'll just have the one note. and it's going to be kind of a haunting atmosphere in the background, you know what I mean?
And one thing you can do is if you go to the simpler and just right click on the sample and you can reverse it. So let's hear how it sounds with the sample reversed. So I'm just going to add an EQ8 and just take out the top and bottom and just leave this very narrow mid band of frequencies. I feel like I want to add a melody now, so I'm just going to grab the grand piano from Ableton Live and just play in the melody with this. So I'm just going to highlight this area and press Shift, Command and M to create a MIDI clip, and then I'm just going to draw in the notes by double clicking. So I'll just duplicate that. So let's see how this sounds with a delay on it. So that's created this mad little bouncing pattern, and I feel like it would sound good with a synth on it. So let's try it with a totally different sound. So I'm just going to type in lead and see what kind of lead synths we've got. So I like how it sounds with this buzz overtones lead. Let's tame it with a bit of EQ. Maybe it'd sound good with a bit of guitar amp on it. So let's hear how everything sounds together. Now that we've got a good amount of instruments, it's time for me to do the arrangement, and this is going to take me a couple of hours, so I'm going to speed up the footage and you can watch it in fast forward. And without further ado, here is the finished Liquid drum and bass track.
If you've learned anything from this video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you like the sounds I was using today, you can download the Reverie sample pack from the link in the description. I'm DJ Graish with Ghost Syndicate. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.